Can you please introduce yourselves?
I am Dr. Diane Regisford.
What has inspired you to come out today to support this Invest SVG event?
The theme of today, home is where the heart is. For me, it's poetic. Yes, home. Our concepts of home, as those living in the diaspora, mean that we have various geographical locations that can equate to a notion of home. I can say for many that I've engaged with today that our heart is also a collective consciousness. Our notions of home are a collective consciousness. We are connected to the roots and the soil that we have as Vincentians, and we're also very much connected to the very diaspora space that we're in now, London, the UK. I spend a lot of time exploring the various complexities that emerge from those identities, those multiple identities that we carry. And so what you see here is part of my practice, which is called evoking belonging. I would say that you were evoked when you saw me come out of the car. Am I correct?
100%.
What did you feel?
I felt that you understood your roots straight off the back. It was given, I know I'm from St. Vincent, but I'm also rooted in where I'm from and my ancestors and Africa. I know who I am. Energy.
You see, you've used the words I use all the time, either when I'm teaching or when I'm sharing, whether I am evoking, belonging. It's an evocation, it's soul deep. And so what inspired me to come? What was the impulse? To be in a room, I didn't know how many people to expect, but to be in a room with those who are actively engaged in those processes of building that bridge, strengthening that connection between whom. My father, who's from St. Vincent, my mother is Jamaican. And so there are many different cultural expressions that live within us. The joy for me is to be in a room, looking at what we see here, investment, and always asking the question, when we're talking about infrastructure, when we're talking about roads, when we're talking about hospitals, when we're talking about education, where does culture sit? These are cultural practices that I believe can deeply anchor roots and weave our collective consciousness of our multiple identities that we carry and that we can fluidly connect to as a form of power, as a form of expression, as a form of deeply anchoring our being in those spaces. And too many of our people sit on the margins of the mainstream through culture and through the work I do with evoking belonging, which is looking at race, which is looking at equity, which is looking at culture and belonging. Working at that intersection, we can strengthen a sense of who we are, stand in the truth of our being.
And what I love, you spoke earlier about your own work of invoking being. So if you could tell us really quickly a little bit about that and also about your roots in St. Vincent and what part exactly that you're from.
Family is from Bayabu, Bridgetown. We have some in both parts. We have lands there. I shared earlier that I was bequeathed some ancestral lands, and those lands are in Bayabu. We have more lands in the family in Bridgetown that came through my grandfather, who was an agricultural. These are roots that hold me with this inspiration to come forward and do the work that I do in policy spaces. I heard the voice saying to me, go into the belly of the beasts, understand how policies are made, because I can see how our people are often oppressed by those very systems. And then when there are processes to come and address and redress those systems and processes, we're nowhere there. I sit as the only black woman in the chamber at Oxford City Council. My intention is to create the space so that many more of us can be there. And what I came to share here with the incoming High Commissioner and all of the delegation, the ministers who are here, I'm here to serve,
serve.
as you are doing.
Exactly. I love that you made yourself known, because before today, I didn't know who else was here to serve. And, you know, you're also doing such an amazing job, not just in your area, you've brought yourself out to these events so you can actually. Does it not also feel like to you that you're actually fulfilling your purpose?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. This is my life purpose.
Yeah.
I see myself as an ancestral emissary. I feel I am sent. Thank you. I'm a
And
poet.
giving poetry, you're
Fulfilling
your purpose. Yes,
Purpose. This
Yes.
is purpose-driven
Yes.
work.
Okay.
I am a social purpose entrepreneur, and the cultural infrastructure that we're going to be building in St. Vincent is another reason why I came here.
Yes.
I'm a visionary. We're creatives. There's a huge body of work behind what I do. All of my doctoral research informs the work that I do. What we want to do is join the dots between policymakers, between financiers, between educators, so that we can bring these beautiful visions that we have to life for the betterment not only of those in St. Vincent, but for me, it's an exchange. My children can benefit from seeing how children their age and young people their age live, how they see the world, and it can be an exchange. So let us create those platforms for that cultural exchange, edification, inspiration, and evocation.
Thank you so much for talking to
most
me
welcome.
today. And I know that whoever is watching will be able to get a lot of gems from our conversation today. And if there was one word that you would leave with someone who wasn't here today, it could be to encourage them to come next time, whatever's on your heart. What word do you want to leave for them?
There's something that each one of us can contribute. That's it.
Lovely.
Make yourself known, be present, engage. There's something that all of us can do.